The Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, says the Jamaican economy would have continued to grow had the country not suffered repeated weather-related shocks. Executives of the PIOJ made the statement as they rejected suggestions that the country was on a path of economic decline prior to the impact of Hurricane Beryl. Siobhan Campbell has that story.
Senior members of the opposition People's National Party, PNP, have been pushing the narrative that the Jamaican economy was on a path to decline long before the island was impacted by the devastating Category 4 storm last July. Opposition leader Mark Golding himself told a gathering of supporters in January that if the PNP formed the government, it would inherit a weakened economy.
The tax revenues of the country are down this year. When we form government, we're not going into a nice buoyant situation. We're going into a situation where the Labour Party has dropped the ball and the economy is weak and is just struggling along. But we understand what it takes to build a strong economy so our people can be wealthy, our people can reach their hopes and dreams.
However, speaking at a media briefing on Wednesday, PIOJ Director General Dr. Wayne Henry says this is not the case.
If you did not have those hydrological events, if you did not have a Hurricane Beryl and a tropical storm, surely you would have seen continued strong performance. We think, just thinking about it, in agriculture, forestry and the fishing in that sector, you'd have seen a continued build out in some of those large projects, the continued implementation and work.
Senior Director for Economic Planning at the Institute, James Stewart, also pointed to the PIOJ's projections prior to Hurricane Beryl. He says all suggestions point to continued growth.
Although the growth rates were relatively lower than the previous year, they were in keeping with our projection for the calendar year of growth about 1%. For the 3 quarters for which we have information, January to March, we recorded growth of 1.2%. April to June, there was growth of 0.3%. The last quarter of the preceding year was 1.7%. But we recall we had projected growth in the range of 0.5 to 1.5%. And based on how the trajectory that we were on prior to the shocks, we are of the view that we would have attained the projected growth.
While admitting that there are fundamental inhibitors affecting the country's economic development, Mr. Stewart says it's not beyond the nation to achieve higher levels of output in the near future.
Moving the growth rate to stronger levels would be largely dependent on increasing capacities in most of our industries. We have already been seeing signs in the hotels and restaurant industry. We have seen some instances in the manufacturing industry where there have been capacity expansion. So as these continue, we can't put a time frame on it, a specific date on it, but as these developments continue to roll out, if we are able to benefit from some of the logistics-related expansions which have started, I think in due course we'll see a strengthening of our growth rate.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.